Serious, what is your opinion of people who commit suicide?
Seriously? It's their life, they own it. No judgment. Apologies for only giving a tangentially related answer, but there's a stigma I wanted to address. Even from my position, i.e., as someone who has grappled with it for years, it's easy to forget that outward happiness doesn't always equal inner happiness. I want to share a story, one that I still have a hard time shaking. Over the summer, I had a small mental breakdown. This was the straw that broke the camel's back for my wife, who realized she couldn't handle my fragile mental state, and left. She came back, just so we're clear. For several days, I spent my days in a daze, and my nights attempting to find a way to distract myself enough. The day after I had managed to compose myself enough to not want to take my own life, I woke up to the news about Robin Williams. He was an incredible inspiration for me, and hearing about what he'd gone through, and what he'd done, took its toll on me. I thought, if that guy couldn't get through it, who the fuck can? I realized, then, that was such a pitiful way to look at it, especially because I knew people would say something similar about me. I don't get it, family, kids, does what he loves to do, has lots of friends, charismatic. How did he fail to get past those demons? So, I try to always remember that anybody could be fighting the same invisible war as I am, and it doesn't matter how successful or happy somebody may seem, they aren't above the struggle simply because of those things. Sorry for the ramble. The reason I'm still here is because I don't want to hurt the people around me, friends and family. It's a fairly stark fact, and a pretty uncomfortable one. There are a lot of personal reasons I want to die, and I'm not going to detail them here, but suffice it is to say it's a potent mix of self-loathing, weariness and a sort of intellectual realization that there really is no point to life. However, I haven't committed suicide because of the effect it would have upon others. Apart from very few specific situations, terminal illness being one, suicide is an inherently selfish act. I would say there are few people in the world that are completely alone in life, but of course I wouldn't rule it out. If that is the case, suicide may not be selfish, although I'm not saying it's justified, either. In a lot of ways, I would embrace the end of existence. But I don't go through with it because I know what effect it would have on others. I do sympathize with what drives people to suicide. But it doesn't make it any less of a selfish act. You cannot know someone else's pain. I want to slap the shit out of people who speak ill of someone who chose to go on their own terms. When I was a little kid, about 5, I found my sister after she had shot herself. Story behind it was she was 18 and had gotten pregnant by a not so great dude and was already struggling with depression. My parents had been very understanding with her and made it abundantly clear that they would always be there and she could ask them for anything. Unfortunately, her inner battle with her emotions was too much and she had killed herself anyway. I was so angry and hurt by the whole thing. How could my sister do this to our family? I started to hate her for it and would say she was selfish and a coward for choosing to leave us like she did. But as I got older and saw more people choose the path she did, it totally opened my eyes to how sinister depression can be. I now know that even if you think you know their situation, even if you think you're providing them with all the support they could need, even if they act like they're happy, it's just not that simple. People with depression and contemplating suicide are in such a pit of inner darkness you could never understand it unless you were them. It hurts my heart to know that people feel that dying is the only option that they have left. I would strongly recommend that if you know someone who is thinking about killing themselves or you yourself are considering it, please reach out. Seek help. Dying isn't the answer or the solution to your problem. Life is precious at every stage. Even if you feel you're alone, you're not. Millions of people are fighting that same battle. You're never alone. It depends really. Usually I feel sympathy, or sadness that they were in such a poor mental state that they resorted to that. However, I had a family friend kill himself, and I was furious at him. Mostly because he had a young daughter, and she was the one who found him. In most cases I believe you have the right to choose to die. But if you have young kids, I feel like you should find help and do whatever you can to prevent yourself from going through with it. You might be surprised how many old guys keep suicide in their mind as an option. Not out of depression, but as a practical move if they lose control of their life from illness or going broke. I'm an old guy myself, and when conversations with my peers get around to life contingencies, suicide seems to always be there hidden in the wings. Fortunately, most never do so. I think that when the bad thing finally happens, they realize that they still love life and aren't ready to leave. But for those that do lose control of their life and commit suicide rather than resign themselves to a slow rotting death in an institution, my opinion is that it's their life and their choice. I understand. I mean, I wake up every day with this gnawing feeling. You try to push it away, but it gets worse. It doesn't stop. This feeling. It hurts. It stings. All the heartache, the stress, it gets to you. So if anyone thinks suicidal people are stupid, please realize that when you are holding the knife or pills like me, that it's not easy to put them down. I can't tell you how many times I almost killed myself. 100? 200? But all I ask is that you understand. Depression and suicide aren't like diseases. They don't go away after time. They are deep depths of darkness and loneliness. Depression is like a boulder of weight always on your back, slowly hurting you, day by day until you say enough. And it says no. It doesn't stop unless you make it. Suicide isn't about killing yourself. It's about starting new, a clean slate. To forget your troubles, and finally drop the boulder. Some of us took the leap. I really do envy them. Please just understand that we aren't trying to be selfish or hurtful. We just want that boulder to stop hurting us. We just want to love happily. Sorry for the wall of text, I need to vent right now. It's not selfish or abandoning the living or anything like that. When people have a dog that's in pain and don't put it down, it's considered cruel. When people want to be put down, when they want it to end, when they're so upset with life that they're willing to go against that innate instinct to survive and they put themselves down like a dog, everyone blames them and calls them selfish for ending their personal hell. People have told me that it would be selfish if I were to end it. If I put people through enough to make it selfish for me to want to end it, the affected people can go right ahead and commit suicide too. Otherwise, how can it be selfish if it probably won't drive others to the same measures that I consider? From the outside it looks like I live in paradise. I'm 19 and have no responsibilities. I get to sit on a computer all day and do nothing. But doing nothing is no way to live. I have only one friend, I see him maybe once every 3 months, and between that it's just text. The only social interaction I have is with brothers nearly a decade younger than me and parents closer to 3 decades older than me. And the internet gets boring, so I'm left thinking about how I'm a burden even if my parents won't admit it. I'm just a waste of space. I have no skills. I know the only thing that will make my life better is work, and yet I can't even motivate myself to put in applications. It takes a lot to want to die, even if from the outside it appears as if a suicide victim had everything. And while I say want to die, it's not that I want to die. I don't want death. I don't even want to be dead without dying. I want to live, but not how I am living. How I am living is just so undesirable to me that death is the better alternative to hoping that I will get to where I want to be. The risk of living through this much longer is not worth the potential reward of a good life. I have an appointment coming up soon to see a doctor or psychiatrist or something, but if shit doesn't change for me soon, I'll have no choice in my mind. I was a suicide hotline counselor for a while. I heard a lot of horrible stories. Some people just have genuinely shitty luck in life. Suicide isn't cowardly. Sometimes I think people forget that other people are humans too. It's impossible to know what it feels like without actually experiencing it firsthand. Those who have had loved ones who committed suicide may come close. I cannot hold any judgment, for I've been there myself. I know others who have also been there. For me personally, there is only sorrow, for I know the pain they felt. I've been in those shoes, and all I can do is hope that they really are happier on the other side of life.